Chapter 1. When life feels quiet, heaven is working. There are seasons in life when everything feels calm, almost too calm. No arguments, no visible problems, no sudden changes. Days pass quietly, routines remain steady, and life seems predictable. Yet these are often the moments when God is doing His deepest and most important work behind the scenes. Samuel was living in such a season. His life did not look extraordinary from the outside, but it was rooted in discipline and faith. Every morning before the sun rose, he sat quietly by his window, folded his hands, and prayed. His prayer was always simple: God, guide my steps today. He did not pray for riches or recognition. He did not ask for fame or comfort. What he desired most was peace in his heart and clarity in his purpose. Samuel worked at a small institution dedicated to helping people rebuild their lives. Some were students who had failed academically, others were workers who had lost jobs, and many were families trying to begin again after hardship. Samuel treated everyone with patience and respect. He listened more than he spoke and worked honestly, even when no one was watching. He was not the most talented employee, nor the most confident speaker, but he had integrity. He did what was right, even when it was inconvenient. And integrity, while powerful, often makes people uncomfortable. It reminds others of standards they may have abandoned. Unbeknownst to Samuel, his quiet faithfulness was being noticed, not only by God but also by those who felt threatened by his consistency. While Samuel believed life was moving normally, heaven was already arranging events. What felt like peace was actually preparation. God was working silently, shaping outcomes Samuel could not yet see. Chapter 2. The first sign God allowed him to notice. The change did not arrive like a storm. It did not announce itself loudly. Instead, it slipped in quietly, almost politely. Samuel first noticed it during a routine week at work. Meetings he once attended regularly were now happening without him. Decisions he used to help shape were already finalized by the time he heard about them. At first, Samuel brushed it off. He told himself that leadership was busy, that changes were normal, but something felt different. People still greeted him with smiles, yet those smiles lacked warmth. Conversations ended quickly when he entered a room. The air felt heavier, though nothing had been openly said. One afternoon, while walking past an office door left slightly open, Samuel overheard a sentence that made him stop. "He's good," someone said softly, followed by a pause. "But maybe too good." The words lingered in his mind long after he walked away. That night, Samuel felt restless. He knelt by his bed and prayed longer than usual. "God," he said quietly, "if something is happening that I cannot see, please open my eyes, but protect my heart. Don't let bitterness grow inside me." Samuel did not ask God to expose anyone. He did not ask for revenge or explanation. He asked for clarity and grace. And that prayer mattered. Because while God does reveal truth, He first protects the heart of the one who trusts Him. From that night forward, Samuel became more observant, not suspicious. He paid attention, but he did not panic. God was allowing him to notice small signs, not to frighten him but to prepare him. What was unfolding was not an accident. It was part of a larger story, one where faith would be tested and strengthened. Chapter 3. When people plot, God prepares. What Samuel could not see was what was happening behind closed doors. Conversations were taking place in quiet offices and hushed tones. Plans were being discussed, not because Samuel was incompetent, but because he was unyielding in his values. Some people desired faster success. Others wanted control without accountability. A few wanted shortcuts that required looking the other way. Samuel, without intending to, had become an obstacle. His honesty made dishonest plans harder to justify. So instead of confronting him directly, they chose a quieter path. No accusations, no confrontations, just gradual removal. His responsibilities were reduced. His ideas were questioned more often. His confidence was subtly challenged. It was a hidden move, carefully designed to make Samuel doubt himself. The goal was simple: make him feel unnecessary until he chose to leave on his own. But there was something they failed to understand. While they were planning in secret, God was preparing openly. Every unjust word spoken, every unfair decision made was being recorded, not on paper, but in divine order. Scripture teaches that what is done in darkness will eventually come to light. God does not rush this process. He allows intentions to reveal themselves fully. While people plot, God positions. While they scheme, God strengthens the one being tested. Samuel continued to work faithfully, unaware of the full plan but fully seen by God. Chapter 4. God's silence is not absence. As weeks passed, the pressure grew heavier. Samuel felt it in small ways: hesitation before speaking, second-guessing his decisions, quiet moments of self-doubt. At night, when everything was still, questions filled his mind. One evening, overwhelmed, he whispered into the silence, "God, if you love me, why are you allowing this?" No answer came. The room remained quiet. But God's silence was not abandonment. It was restraint. God was allowing the situation to mature fully. If he intervened too early, the truth might remain hidden. Sometimes God waits, so that no one can deny his hand when he finally moves. Faith is often tested not in suffering, but in waiting. Samuel continued to pray, even without answers. He chose patience over panic, trust over fear. And though he did not know it, God was closer than ever. Chapter 5. The Test of the Heart. The real test came unexpectedly. One day, during a meeting, Samuel was blamed for a mistake he did not make. The room fell silent. All eyes turned toward him. This was the moment many would defend themselves. Samuel felt the urge rise within him, to explain, to expose, to fight back. But he paused. In that pause, he remembered his prayer. He spoke calmly. "God sees the truth," he said softly. "That's enough for me." Some people laughed quietly. Others shook their heads. But heaven paid attention. Because the greatest test was not about reputation, it was about character. Samuel chose peace, and God honored that choice. Chapter 6. What you don't see is protecting you. The plan against Samuel reached its final stage. Reports were prepared. Decisions were scheduled. Everything seemed settled, but one small detail remained unnoticed by the planners. A single document contained false information. And God does not allow lies to stand forever. That very morning, an external review was announced. No one had expected it. Files were examined carefully. Emails were cross-checked. Conversations were revisited. Slowly, the truth emerged, not dramatically but undeniably. What had been hidden was now visible. God did not rush the process. He revealed it clearly and completely. Chapter 7. When God exposes without noise. There was no shouting, no confrontation, just silence. The kind of silence that follows truth. Those who planned were questioned. Their stories conflicted. Their intentions became clear. And Samuel stood quietly, hands folded. He did not need to defend himself. God was doing it for him. Chapter 8. The tables turn without you touching them. The hidden move failed. Not because Samuel fought back, but because God stepped in at the right moment. Those responsible were reassigned. Some lost authority. Others chose to leave. Samuel was offered a new role, greater responsibility, deeper trust. Yet his greatest blessing was not promotion, but peace. Chapter 9. God didn't just save him, he elevated him. When Samuel learned the full truth, he felt no anger, only gratitude. God had protected his heart before protecting his position. Chapter 10. The Divine Lesson. In prayer, Samuel heard a message in his heart. I did not just save you. I prepared you. What was meant to destroy you, I used to position you. Final message for the reader. If you feel ignored, uncertain, or quietly pushed aside, trust this. God is working. Do not panic. Do not rush. Do not lose your character. What was meant to harm you will become the reason God reveals his power through you.